Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today in my Under the Radar review, I'm looking at the 1982 self-titled debut album of the supergroup Asia. By this time, the band, they were known as a supergroup. Obviously, there was the who's who of the progressive rock world joining forces to create this new band. So you had bassist and lead vocalist John Wetton of King Crimson. You had Carl Palmer of Emerson, Lake and Palmer. You had Steve Howe of Yes, and then you had keyboardist Jeff Downes of Yes and the Buggles. There was a big hoopla when you heard these guys are joining forces. A lot of hype coming out. Geffen Records was pushing the marketing for this, and it came out, and then there was this division. A lot of guys like me who weren't diehard progressive rock fans loved this album. The minute I heard, Heat of the Moment, I said, I'm picking up this album. This sounds great. Love it. But we have to remember that in that time, if you were in a progressive band, if you left that sound, it was like a no-no. If you're a rock band, you're a rock band. Progressive rock, you're progressive rock. Your country, you remained in that genre. It's not as open as it is now, where you see like Beyonce jumping into country and people are okay with it. This was a no-no at one point. That these guys who are known for technical and complex material are releasing kind of like polished commercial pop rock. There was a lot of this kind. There was a lot of arguments, people saying, they sold out, and other people saying like, this is just a great album. And that was my take. It was a great, I knew what I was getting into, because I like Journey, I like Foreigner. I grew up with that stuff. So for me, it was a no-brainer. You had, for me, John Wetton, who, phenomenal vocalist. Then you had the amazing guitar playing of Steve Howe, the drums from Carl Palmer, and the keyboards. It's amazing. So what elevates these songs from being strictly, dull material is the musicianship themselves. I mean, besides you have the obvious hit singles of Heat of the Moment, Only Time Will Tell, and Soul Survivor, which stick in your head for days the minute you hear them. You have other songs like Time Again, which the ominous keyboards on there, you got to hear that song one time in your life to show that the musicianship is stellar. Listen to that track. Wildest Dreams is fantastic, and Here Comes the Feeling. The only song I don't like on this 9-track album is the 8th track, Cutting It Fine. It never was anything that I gravitated to, but the rest of the songs, for me, it's like an alternate universe greatest hits package, and I love it. Like I said, there's no weak link. There's strong drumming, keyboards, guitar, and vocals. Everything is impeccable. And it's one of those albums that there's no weak track per se, except maybe, I guess, for me was Cutting It Fine. I could live without. But I mean, 1 track out of 9. You can't complain. And I guess, like I said again, there was a heated debate on what these guys have done. Did they sell out? Are they any good anymore? But listen to the album. Like I said, a good album is a good album is a good album. And what saves this album or elevates this album past its, yes, it's lighthearted pop rock, but the musicianship is there. Listen to it, and you will hear it. It's amazing. This album, there's a lot more love than it got. The band had a hard time continuing with the follow-ups. The next 2 albums, I think, sold like 1/4 the amount. Like they went platinum. Geffen Records dropped them. I believe Wetton and Downes kind of toured under the Asia banner, and there was a rotating people coming in to replace them. I think Wetton left the bands in the early 90s. They had another singer, I think, called John Payne, that they released a slew of albums until, I think, 2008, where there was an album called Phoenix, where the original band went back together, and I think they released like 3, 4 albums together. And I like them all. Yes, some of them are not as strong as others, but they're great. If you like great vocals, great drumming, great keyboards, great guitar playing, you can't go wrong. There's another band I mentioned here called Revolution Saints. If you like Revolution Saints, Asia is one of the prototypes I'm sure they've listened to, besides Journey. You hear that in there. You hear the influences for sure. But that's my take. I love this album. I think it's, I always go back to it every once in a while, and I puts a smile on my face, and I love it. You let me know what you think. Have you ever heard of this album? What do you think of it? Do you think they sold out? You think it's a prog rock? These guys sold out, or you think it's a good album? I'd love to hear your thoughts on there. Share it down below. I'll put a couple of songs down there too. You let me know what you think. We'd love to hear from you. This is Steven with my thoughts on the underrated album from Asia. See you soon.